I bet you're missing that. Of course. Yeah, it looks like this. You can't hire them. They're not available.
Well, they did say that they're willing to move the officers to the shop and if you don't have time.
Yeah. Serious talk.
Yes, they did. They brought, I think they went to the side. Is the pastry before they
Well, yeah, that's work. Yeah. I wasn't there for but that's all good. All the moves.
wanted to introduce you to Shelby Zane. She's from the Herald News. Zane is our manager of innovation.
Great.
She's training to communication, so
Thanks for coming.
Oh, my God. Talking to you. Yeah. I need to just send you a PowerPoint.
That'd be great. Looking forward to seeing what happens at this meeting too.
Yeah, it'll be exciting.
Well, we're trying to engage our
We're actually live streaming right now.
I heard that was gonna happen. That's really nice for the people at home where people can't make it in.
So far, hey, we have 2 viewers.
Man, look at that. No, I probably it's gonna take a few before it catches on, but it's worth trying. That's the thing.
So then you just, how do you know you have yours? Show us what you're.
They can hear us, by the way. So see how it's, okay, 1 viewer. So it's me. So this is our iPad
Where's what's filming?
camera right here.
Oh, okay.
They can hear us.
One day.
Okay, 1 part.
I told him, we need satellite, we need satellite. What if you take a shot? He said, no, we're not doing it. Right, I don't want to sit here.
Remember something.
I appreciate you taking the time on your busy day to join us. So, Leamington District Memorial Hospital is starting our next round of our strategic planning process. So, really, what this is about is hearing from you. So, you'll see pieces of paper on your table asking you questions that we'd ask you to fill out. Also, we have a survey online. If you can take 15 minutes and tell us basically what we do well, what we could have been doing better, and what we should focus on as we go forward. So I'll be joined by Cheryl Dieter. She's the CNE here, and she is also the Integrated Director of the new hospice, which will be opening in April 2016. As you can see, that building is almost done, and we'll be holding some community tours starting in January for everyone to see how things are progressing. So before we get going, we wanted to talk about where we are and how we got here. So over the last couple of years, last strategic plan, the board of directors made the decision to use this asset. What I mean by this asset is this building. I know it sounds like semantics, but we used to be a hospital located at 194 Talbot. Okay? We're now a facility located at 194 Talbot, which happens to have a hospital. Okay, so what this means, it sounds like semantics, but really it's not. What this means is we provide services directly, and we host other providers to help them discharge their duties properly to serve all of Essex Winthrop. So services that we deliver is our ED, and we are the fastest ED in the Erie Sanctuary Land, and number 21 in the entire province. Our surgical cases, we do about 4,400, and we have a 400% increase in our orthopedics. Medical, this is care for chronic disease, CHS, COPD. And we have full suite of diagnostic services with the expansion of the Women's Center. Programs we host include the dialysis unit out front with Windsor Regional Hospital. And we have developed the LDMH neighborhood of care, which you'll hear about in a second. So some quick facts. Last year, at the end of March 31st, we finished with 370 births, which is up 70 from the preceding year. This is really important, the next one here. We had 28,663, don't want to get too detailed for you, but 28,663 ED visits, over 7,600 ambulatory care visits, and about 4,400 surgeries performed. So a little bit more on a granular basis, what does this mean? Medical care in ER, heart failure, post-surgical, chronic respiratory, and the ED is always open. Kathleen Groenweiger runs the ED. General surgery is gallbladder, endoscopy, breast and colon cancer, dental. Diagnostics, ultrasound, CT scanner, very important. Rose is very busy right now. Our foundation has committed to spending $1,250,000 on a brand new CT scanner, and Rose is busy right now shopping. And we hope to have that operational here in-house about June, sometime in the June timeframe. Someone and Cheryl will come and talk to you about what's been created with the neighborhood care.
Sorry, I walked right in front of them.
She's dripping the mic right over my head.
Better door in the window, that's my dad used to say. Anyway, neighborhood care, what is that? Well, I can tell you it's a passion of mine, and it was began in 2013 when a study was done, and my predecessor also had a passion for addressing addictions. If you look around our community, we look extremely affluent. In fact, we have the most millionaires. But guess what we don't have? Access to service. And that's what pains me the most. I've lived here, I grew up in Wheatley, and I've lived in Leamington all my life, and I'm too old to not serve. Doesn't matter to me. I'm telling you that all these services we invited into our community because we need them desperately. What are the two barriers when we did a poll in 2013 for access to services of our citizens? They comment about finances and transportation as two issues that affect their ability to get to the services that are in the city. All these providers have the same issue: finances and transportation. So we reduce that barrier by offering them free space, office space, here in an underutilized wing of the hospital, so that they would come in and there would not be the barrier that having rent and overhead as an issue. We wanted to bring them in, start them off, get them going, and growing and then leaving, like an incubation center. And I can tell you that we've had tremendous successes because one of the services that aren't on here are the Windsor Essex Community Health Center. They grew and grew to a level of 500 patients and have now relocated here in Leamington to serve those people that do not have primary care access. And that's absolutely what we wanted to do, to make our home, the hospital as a hub, the incubation center for the rest of our community. So having access to Canadian Mental Health Association, Family Services, the AIDS Community of Windsor is coming, as well as the VON Pain Clinic, Windsor Women working with immigrant women, they also see men, and NAMI for National Alliance on Mental Illness are all key things that help us provide for our citizens. Being asked to drive to the city is not feasible when you don't have a vehicle and there is no bus. And the other issue is that because of our status here in our community, did you know that about 40% of Leamington has their grade 12 education? That's a high number of having the education that does not allow you to be able to have a lived experience where you can afford to do other things and to grow. So by having this neighborhood of care, bringing other services in, all we're asking for is equitable access. And we have been challenged somewhat where we've been told that you do have equitable access. But I'm speaking up and saying that I haven't seen that data that we truly are receiving the care that our citizens need. I'm not asking for more, I'm asking for fair access for all. So the next slide is another initiative that we have. We're looking constantly for what opportunities or what things we can put in our toolbox for our citizens and our youth. Unusual partnerships are something that we also have delved into. Unusual partnerships meaning our high schools, our faith-based communities, all important that together, when we pool our resources, I truly do believe there is enough for all. The Be Safe app is something that Leamington Hospital sponsored. We are not a lead organization for mental health and addictions. We're very clear on that, but we are a leader and we will provide for our citizens and will be a door of opportunity for them. This Be Safe app we launched last week at Leamington High School. We had all the kids, the grade 9 kids there. We also had Cardinal Carter come, their principal spoke, and some of their kids. Today, Zane and I met with Kingsville District High School with Catherine Groneweg, our director in the emergency department. Why? Because we want to ensure we have equal access and quick access for our students that are having difficulties. And I can tell you, it may look like we're all affluent. Like I said, when you drive through our towns, we have a lot, but there's a lot of struggles in our communities, and that's what we want to be here for, a door to access. So in the Be Safe app, it's, like I said, another opportunity for our kids to have access to help groups that's on their cell phones. So anything we can do, primary care is the most important access within our community. However, not everyone has a primary care provider. So we also want to wrap our arms around our kids that way too.
Thanks. So as we look over the last couple of years, we've had some success. This is the recent complaints, and we do get complaints charts that we receive, we review with our board of directors. Direct correlation, as complaints go down, service to the patients actually improve. It goes up, it goes the other way. We're very happy to report, and we celebrated today with a very large luncheon with our staff. The number of complaints we are getting has been consistently going down. That's a testament to the doctors, the staff, the physicians, the clinical leaders like Catherine sitting right here. And I appreciate what they all do. As we talked about, P4R, pay for results. We are the fastest in the Erie St. Clair Lynn, 21 in the province. This is measured across 5 different, excuse me, this is measured across 5 different metrics. Let me try that again, get out of the way here, so people can see. When we started, probably the last 2 or 3 years, we were probably 3 or 4 in the Erie St. Clair Lynn, now number 1 for about 18 months or 24 months now. So really, Catherine's done a fantastic job with that. On the surgery side, approximately 4,500 surgical cases. We expanded the orthopedic cases as we talked about before. We are also expanding for urology, and you'll be hearing about that very soon coming up. So OB, kind of a lightning rod over the last 18 months or so. I'm sure everyone's heard about that. Through all the chaos that has gone on, the clinical team, Rebecca, Ismail, the staff, the physicians, Cheryl and her group have done a fantastic job keeping the eye on patient care. This scorecard that you see here is across a couple of key performance indicators. It speaks directly to the quality of care. And again and again and again, it's always green. They've done a really, really good job. However, we've had some challenges over the last couple of years. One was the Sesame Store. That's a program that's like rehab. We receive special one-time funding. That funding was on an annual basis, and it ended in 2014, December 2014. This really drove the issues we were facing. Okay, you have to have rehab in a hospital, or your patients will decondition really quite quickly. OB, everyone's aware of that situation, the challenges that we face there. In ED, pay for results. Now, this is a program that is really designed, and we thank the Erie St. Clair Lynn for getting us involved in this. They had the foresight to see challenges that we had. This is designed for ED departments that see over 30,000 visitors on an annual basis. We do not see that number. Okay, you're allowed to participate in this program, and Lynn got us into it, as long as the rules are now tightening up at the ministry. Okay, so as long as you do not fall below 29,000 visits for 2 years in a row, then your participation will continue. Last year we finished with 28,663. We missed by 1 visit a day. Right, that's tough. This year is going to be close, and I'm not advertising for people to visit the ED. Your primary care doctor is your best solution for you. Okay, what is important to know is that if you have an emergent situation, then you come to your local hospital. Again, your primary care doctor is the best course of action for you. The situation warrants. Anything you want to add to that?
Just, I could reference the Assess and Restore program when that was eliminated. I can tell you that it was eliminated not because of performance. We were the best Assess Restore program in all of Ontario. So our successes were clear. Yet the program had to go, despite us going further to the ministry, making that request. Obstetrics, again, number 1. But the greatest thing about obstetrics is that the legislation now that is in place that we keep obstetrics is now an anchor in our community, supporting having an emergency department as well as an OR. And the ED paper results, when you look at it, 1 visit per day is what we missed by. That's so little. And our emergency department is something that's key to our community. And I would say use it when you need it.
So due to the funding reductions, working with Erie St. Clair Lynn, this really was a partnership, okay, in the era of fiscal restraint. We had to prioritize the services that we can offer based off the funding that we had. Okay, so we did a study, Aligning Sustainable Hospital Services by the Hay Group. And the recommendation was due to the loss of funding for Sesame Store, the rehab, as well as cuts in funding from the Ministry of Health Long-Term Care. The recommendation was to close OP. Okay, that was last October 22nd, so well over a year ago. So we had some really tough conversations in this room on October 29th, and also with the Lynn on November 5th at the Roma Club. Over 400 to 500 people showed up there, and we really thank the community for standing up and pushing back. Okay, because of you, right? Because of what you did, what this community did to protect the local hospital, these services are remaining at the hospital. So Erie St. Clair Lynn, okay, gave us an integration order. That order was to continue to provide obstetrics, and Cheryl talked about that. That is legislated. It's not an option. You have to do so. And to add to add rehab beds to the hospital. So now we're going to have 10 rehab beds, and OB is staying in-house. The Lynn will also work with us in determining the funding needed to make this a reality.
So with OB staying, I'll just clarify, the lights on, lights off thing is not true. Lights always on. It's not about duplication of service when the navigation center, which is being created right now, and we're involved in that as well. It's not about duplication, like I said. The lights are on, the staff are there, we're ready to receive.
Right, that's a very good point. So we decided to recognize what the community did for us. We had a little party out front about saving OB, about celebrating our partnerships with regards to mental health and addictions, and to thank our community. And we know how to throw a party. Okay? There must have been somewhere between 1,600 and 1,800 people there. It was truly amazing. These are the students walking down the street. The Save OB group was there. Leanne Southington, who was one of the leaders of that, was also speaking there. So we are indebted to the community for helping us through this very challenging time, and we want to thank you for that. So today is about hearing from you. We have a survey online, and Bill tells us that's going quite well. We're getting a lot of responses back from the community and also from our community partners. On the table here, you will find pieces of paper that you can answer. Just fill out any points that you may have, or please go on our website and fill out the survey if you can. I thank you for coming. And if anyone has any questions or comments or concerns, we can address those now.
Bring some stuff along that people are talking.
Can you just explain that the OB is legislated? Is that legislated from the province then?
Can you say that question real quick?
I'm just curious what the legislation means. Is it coming from the province?
Yeah. So what happens when what happens when the Erie St. Clair then gave you that integration order? That's legislated. There's no choice. Okay, and we're very thrilled about that. To us, it's always been about receiving the right funding to make this operational. So we're working with the LIN with respect to that, and we're in a couple days, hopefully in a couple days, we'll be announcing that a new OBGYN will be joining us.
Terry, we've got such a diverse community here, and we've lost our chaplain several of the years back now. What are we looking to do to provide that care for our community?
That's a great question, because we have been meeting with the faith-based groups, and you're right. Our faith-based groups acknowledge that they need help as well, because the needs are so great for even mental health and addictions within our parishes and our congregations. What we're doing with the chaplain that was previously, I think you're referencing Liz's position when she was here. The plan is Liz is actually going to be the spiritual liaison at the new Erie Shores Hospice. And so with that, because integration, I actually prefer to call it collaboration, is so important. Liz will be entering into the hospital again and seeing the patients here, as well as leading a team of spiritual care throughout the community. So it'll be even in a greater role. Liz has been actively involved in the hospice orientation as well, and she'll be a familiar face. But it's looking at, I guess the key is this, that everyone doesn't have enough money for everything. But together, if we pool and we look at opportunities where we can have collaborative positions, that's how we get it all.
Past perception always hangs around every business, and whether you want to call this a facility or business or whatever. I'm wondering, in your strategic plan, are you going to spend a greater amount of money and a greater effort in promoting Leamington Hospital in Kingsville and in our catchment area? And by that, I mean really raising its profile in a very big public way, so that everybody knows that the old stores of the OB are gone and this is the new OB, and that we offer all these wonderful services here, and you don't need to go east or west to get what has to be done.
Thank you, Mayor Patterson. Yes, we are actively marketing what we do and how well we do it, and we also are sharing what we don't do well, because those are the greatest lessons for improvement in our community and our catchment. Even today, meeting with our high school, I was with Kingsville, like I said, Kingsville High School principal, understanding the needs in that community. Listening carefully and then providing access to care, I think, is extremely important. As well, I think speaking at our municipality, and I have spoken at our council meetings, not only here in town, I'm heading to Kingsville shortly, and I've been at the county council as well, but keeping an update with our councilors as to what's going on here, and speaking to changes in positions. We are one of the key healthcare providers and with employment. So there's 4 buckets: the tourism, agriculture, manufacturing, and healthcare are our 4 major employers here in our county. So it matters to our council members when there's a shift in employment here, as well as a shift in our services. I think being more transparent with everything we do, the good and the bad, we really can make tremendous gains. And as well, we enhance our marketing.
Yeah, I just want to add to that. So, I mean, in addition to that, it's very true. Perception is the hardest thing to kind of really overcome, because those of us who have been around for a while, who know this hospital from the past, still keep those perceptions in your mind, but yet the public out there is seeing it different. And the reason I'm saying that is because a number of things, the responses that are coming in, I'm just doing some analysis right now, is that keep communicating. You're doing that well. There are some people who keep saying you got to communicate better. Those are always the thing. Communication is always about keeping communicating. So with the efforts that Cheryl and Zane are doing with regards to the outreach, they're doing significant. Zane and his social media that's been out there significantly. And over the last 3 to 4 years, our media coverage and our hits are like probably 1,000% more. We've been more on the news. If you notice now, even AM 800 and the medias that are coming in from Windsor are on anything we do. They're calling, they're saying, okay, what's happening? So we become a go-to now for healthcare in the county. So it's a good question. I'm glad you raised that, because I want people to hear this online too. I know the community that our perception is changing. It's those of us who had perception in the past that still kind of retain that. So I'm glad you brought that up. Thanks.
Housekeeping call 4400, please.
So what I want to bring up is totally in line with what you just said. During the campaign for the obstetrics, over and over people were saying that there wasn't epidural offered in Leamington. Of course, it had been for several years. So it is important to repeat. And I know from when you're inside, you kind of maybe take for granted that everybody knows what you know. And I'm not criticizing, but I've been there where you just kind of forget that everybody doesn't know what you know, and you can't repeat it enough. Even if it's 1 million times, you'll hit someone new that 1 millionth time. So on the OB issue, you saved it, it's legislated, wonderful, but people need to use it. And so my point that I wanted to bring up is, at one time, I believe there was fundraising and funds that were raised for a birthing tub, and something happened, and you may know better than me, but something happened that it didn't get built, or it started to get built, and something happened, maybe you know, and it didn't get built. So this is something that women in a progressive community want, and it will drive them to go further away to get access to this. You'll get the women who can't, but you want the women who are, and this was brought up in the media, who are choosing to leave this community. And the reason they're leaving is because of things like a birthing tub.
Great. So a couple points, if I could, and going back to what John said earlier, it just takes time and it takes consistency. So what we need to do is build an infrastructure to make sure that we have someone, appoint people, to continue to spread the message of the hospital. We're doing a much better job than what we did traditionally. Let me give you an example. Okay, when I first started here, we had like 260 births. Right? We finished last year at 370. That didn't happen by accident. Right? We did a lot of community events, baby showers, and so forth, a lot of marketing. As soon as our new OBGYN lands in January, okay, we'll be announcing very soon the addition, and that person will be joining us in January. And you'll see that happen again. Okay, it'll be, pedal to the metal, excuse the expression, but we'll start doing those baby showers, right? What I think people know, or Zane's going to put on the website, we do have epidurals. That's a very good point, because you can't tell the story enough and enough and enough. You just have to let it be overloaded.
The history was you did, and that's what people are stuck on.
You're 100% right. I had a board member the other day say to me, okay, are the lights on, are the lights off? And it's like, oh my God, I'm going to have a nervous breakdown. No, the lights are on. The lights are always on. We make a joke around here that I'm going to get one of those big epidurals, like people with the pizza boxes, and I'm going to go stand out front and spin the epidural around and tell people we have epidurals. Yeah, so that will be part of the marketing program. We just need to get the person landed. Once they're here, we have a plan to turn that number back up and keep going. Okay, and the tub will show up. That's not going to be an issue.
But, and I will add too, it's good that people in the community like yourself that keep pushing this out social media as well. You're a strong supporter, that's great. Anything that happens, you keep pushing it out, so does the mayor. I mean, and those are things that now, that those tools we have now, that 5 years ago weren't as prevalent, they are really significant now. I mean, right now, this is being live streamed. So people will hear this if they haven't had a chance to get here, and we realize that. And so continually, we ask people to take our message and move it out with their friends.
You'll be repeating for 5 years that the lights are on, because the
Yes, we
media
will.
covered it, and the lights on.
Absolutely.
You can come back and say, nah, the lights won't be turned on. They didn't say that.
You're absolutely correct, and we will say it over and over and over again. It actually impacted our recruitment efforts.
Yeah.
It really did. It's like, what are you guys talking about? Say, no. There's no lights on, no lights off. We got that.
Somebody
Take it
came to
away
Tom this
immediately.
week and asked me how the lights off was going. It was part of the health coalition. How's the lights off going? I said,
Well,
the lights
you know
haven't
what?
been off.
Tell them that's Motel 6 or 8 or whatever that is. It's just not here, okay? The lights are on, it is always staffed, we will not put mothers and babies at risk. Okay, not going to happen.
I think we might even use a campaign. I know the mayor's on with the Essex Power. Might use a campaign, lights on, switch on. Okay, so.
No.
Okay, please take the time if you could and go to our website, fill out the survey. We would really appreciate the feedback. Positive, negative, it is what it is. We want to hear. So as we move forward, we can do a better job. Oh, one
Is
more
there a
question.
deadline for the survey?
It's right on the website.
Does it close like anytime?
We're keeping it open.
Yeah.
Until after, actually, it's going to be open until January 23rd, and then we're going to see what the responses. The responses have been quite good, actually. I spent all day today kind of going through some comments. So everything you're saying out there is pretty close to what people are saying. But there is, I would say, not just saying this, there are some encouraging perceptions to improvement. They see us out in the community more. Community outreach is there. Everybody's never going to be satisfied with wait times. That's always the case, right? I don't want to wait for 5 minutes to do anything, but we are still measured as number one for what we're doing. So, but I have heard that the staff, is caring staff, what they're delivering, people like that. So there's a really good response about the staff interaction with patients. There's always the odd person that it doesn't. That's just the case, but that's the general things we're hearing out there is the fact that we are communicating. We like the outreach, the partnerships, keep doing the partnerships, and the staff.
And I know we're near a close, but what I'd like to say on a positive note is if you look at what the minister is saying, it's all about equitable access. And I'm asking Leamington and the county, I'm asking Essex, Windsor, do you feel like you have equitable access? I don't think so. We're not there yet. So together we can make a difference, and please fill out that survey and don't give up, because together we can make it happen in the county. Mr. Shields.
Okay, again, thank you so much for coming. I appreciate it. You'll be hearing a lot from us. We are going to Leamington Council, I think soon, sometime. Also going to Kingsville, and Phil's going to arrange some other ones too, to make sure people hear the message. Thank you so much.
Thanks. If you want to make any comments on the sheets without us hearing, go right ahead.
I do have
If our targets will be for 30,000, does that mean you're, or if you have like the targets are